Hi, this is Bhavna, and I welcome you to the platform of the Aspirants Lab where we bring you daily newspaper discussions and the content related to your UPSC preparation. So, for now, let's move forward to today's discussion. So, the first article of the newspaper talks about the export estimate that crosses $400 billion annual target as goods shipment makes a jump. सो इंडिया ने एक एम्बिशियस टारगेट जो है वो सेट किया था जो एक्सपोर्ट्स टारगेट है दैट was set by India as $400 billion for goods export and this is first time in the history of exports Indian exports that India has achieved this milestone and this can be considered as a very key milestone in our mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So this was also which was addressed by our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi. And if we bifurcate the exports data, so exports had reached $331.02 billion in pre-pandemic fiscal year that was of 2018 and 19. However, shipments have increased by $25.19 billion during the month of March, and by March 31st, the total figure is expected to be $410 billion, and this was something that was said by the government when commenting over the development. Now, if we talk about द बेनिफिट्स ये जो हमारा माइलस्टोन है ये जो टारगेट है जो हमने अचीव किया है उसका जियो पॉलिटिकल ट्रेड मार्केट में या जो वर्ल्ड ट्रेड मार्केट है उस पे उसमें हमें क्या बेनिफिट मिलेगा या जो ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट्स है उसमें हमें क्या बेनिफिट मिल सकता है तो ये जो इंडिया का एक्सपोर्ट बूस्ट है दैट विल डेफिनेटली बूस्ट इंडियाज पोजीशन इन ongoing negotiations for the free trade agreements with several trade पार्टनर्स तो ये जो है ये ट्रेड बेनिफिट जो है वो हमारे लिए ट्रेड अपॉर्चुनिटीज और ट्रेड बेनिफिट्स को जो है मार्केट में और ज़्यादा बूस्ट करेगा और अगर हम यहाँ पे कुछ सिग्निफिकेंट चीज़ें जो है वो नोट करें तो अगेन जो हमारा एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर है that has also recorded its highest ever export during 21-22 which is a very good thing to be marked and with the export of rice marine products wheat spices and sugar this development and this taking our export to next level is something that can be marked as a scheme under Make in India and let's say the strength, the collective strength of Make in India. Now, if we talk about the export surge in financial year 2022, so India's merchandise exports have reached $400 million and this fiscal year 2022 which is 9 days ahead of the target after registering a dip in the year 21 due to the pandemic. Now, here you have the graph that speaks about the export thing that also apart from that we just talked about the agri boost so rice both the basmati and non basmati varieties of rice they achieved 90% to 100% of the total export target which is again a major surge and here you see the growing surge in the graphical representation of merchandise sport and then you have trade deficit the surge in trade deficit, the growing lines over the trade deficit in billions, you have that that seems to be increasing during April March 2022 to 2021, and however it got a major break in April 2021 to February 2022. So this is something that can be understood and kept in your head through this article. Now, just to explain what is trade deficit and what you can understand through trade deficit. So, trade deficit refers to a situation where a country's import dues exceed the recipient from the export. Now, the trade deficit arises in a course of international trade when the payments for import exceed the recipient from the export trade And to understand, a trade deficit can also be referred as negative balance of trade, which seems to be, getting down, breakdown at April 21, February 2022, which is again good for India's trade, as you see. So, yeah, this is something that you can understand from the graphs as well as the informations that we just discussed. Now, let's move on to the next article. So if you scroll down, you come to page number. Okay, so page number 3 in states news. We do not have anything significant today. So yeah, coming to page number 6, that is again the discussion with the state news. You have a quick information that the IT migrant workers were found to be dead in go down fire. So this fire, go down fire, refers to a place in Bhoigada in Hyderabad. So, where this go down is a scrap go down, as you see. So, here 11 migrant workers from Bihar were charred to death in a massive fire, which was a scrap go down at Bhoigada, at which was 2 kilometers from Sikandrabad railway station, which is a place near Hyderabad. And most of these people who got dead here were from Bihar. So this is something which is a very saddening incident. Now, generally, these emergencies are to be regulated by disaster response in fire service management. Here, what do they do? So that is something that you can take as a takeaway. So, disaster response planning or disaster preparedness for fire is basically a procedure which is designed to reduce the risk of fire to property and cultural heritage. Now, fire prevention and response strategies to protect, collection or institution are something which is becoming very common in our management practices and, awareness of potential risk, because the fire damages are something which is very severe both on lives, and also it includes the full or partial damage of property and heritage collection by let's say the direct burning or damage from smoke, or something that's caused by heat or combustion byproducts, or yeah, such incidents taking places in godowns, mines, and institutions, they are a warning for us to understand that these emergency risk needs to be planned before, establishment of a setup or so that these kind of incidents can be avoided in future. So that is it from this article. Now, if we move forward towards the next article. Um, yeah, again, so yesterday, the Uttarakhand's Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami ji, sorry, not yesterday, but on Wednesday, so he took an oath as Chief Minister of Uttarakhand again, and this marks his second tenure. So, yeah. Now, on page number 8 in editorial, we do not have something substantial to be analyzed for today, mostly cosmopolitical articles that we have already analyzed, or we have scope to do that in future in a conclusive manner. So yeah, again, OPIT section. Yeah, on OPIT section, from data point of view, you can understand this thing that about the COVID-19 cases. So here you see three graphs that point out that the average cases in the selected countries since October 1, 2021, let's say South Korea, Vietnam, Germany, Austria, Thailand, and Malaysia recorded their pandemic peaks in last 10 days. However, India recorded recorded its second highest case peak between December 2021 and January 2021. That is something that you see, it's very visible in the graph. Now, what is BA2? So, the latest evidence on Omicron variant of concern includes its sublineages, which is BA1 and BA2. So, these are the sublineages of Omicron itself, which is the recent COVID variant that we have seen. For further data oriented ideas, you can always focus on these graphs to understand, that talks about the waves, alpha wave, delta wave, and the Omicron wave, which happens to be the three variants of coronavirus. Yeah, so that is it for this data oriented point. Now, on page number 10 and 11, that talks about text and context. You have two really important articles to talk about. Firstly, in the explainer section, you have the controversy over proposed Meghdatu water project. So, we'll understand this water project, the controversy related to it, and then we'll be dealing with the conceptual clarifications, something that is important from your exam perspective about this article. ओके, तो सबसे पहले तो ये समझते हैं कि मेघधातु क्या है. So मेघधातु is basically a location along the Kaveri in the border of Chamarjanagar and Ramnagar districts. And from this point लगभग अगर आप 3.5 किलोमीटर डाउन स्ट्रीम्स में जाते हैं तो रिवर कावेरी फ्लोज थ्रू अ डीप एंड नैरो जॉर्ज. आप अगर इस आर्टिकल इस पिक्चर को आई एक्सपैंड तो यू सी दिस इज कर्नाटका एंड तमिलनाडु, and in between, I mean, the bordering area of these two states, here the Meghdatu spot is situated. Now, Meghdatu means goat sleep in Kannada, not something significant, but yeah. अब जो मेघ धातु है, दैट इज द कॉन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ रिवर्स Cauvery and its tributary, which is अर्कावती. अब कर्नाटका और तमिलनाडु के बीच में ये जो मेघधातु ड्रिंकिंग वाटर प्रोजेक्ट है, ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है इसको अभी हम डिस्कस करेंगे डिटेल में कि क्या है. बट फॉर नाउ पहले एक बार ये पूरी जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट है, पूरा जो स्टोरी है उसको समझ लेते हैं. तो जो मेघधातु ड्रिंकिंग वाटर प्रोजेक्ट है, विच इज अक्रॉस द रिवर कावेरी, प्रपोज्ड एज नाउ इसको लेकर के इन दोनों स्टेट्स के बीच में जो है वो डिसकंटेंट है. नाउ विद इन द डेज ऑफ तमिलनाडु असेंबलीज रेजोल्यूशन अगेंस्ट द प्रोजेक्ट, कर्नाटका's legislative assembly is set to counter it with a resolution seeking the project's early implementation and clearances from the center. अब कर्नाटका जो है इट इज एंटरिंग इनटू इट्स इलेक्शन ईयर 2023 में. मेघधातु इशू जो है वो अब इस कंटेक्स्ट में जो है वो ज़्यादा सिग्निफिकेंट बन गया है कर्नाटका और तमिलनाडु में, सिंस द इलेक्शन ईयर इज कमिंग. और कावेरी जो है दैट इज समथिंग विच इज अ वेरी इमोशनल इशू फॉर द पीपल दैट binds people in Kaveri district in old Mysore region. और मेघधातु जो है दैट इज समथिंग विच इज प्लेइंग अ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट रोल, स्पेशली इन अफेक्टिंग द रिजल्ट्स ऑफ इलेक्शन, एज यू आई मीन अंडरस्टैंड दिस पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो. नाउ इन कर्नाटका कावेरी को लेकर जो लेटेस्ट डेवलपमेंट हुआ, दैट ब्रॉट people together and the political class across parties which were divided over the issue just a month ago by accusing each other on delaying the project. अब ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है इसको लेकर के दोनों स्टेट्स और जो पार्टीज हैं वो एक दूसरे को ब्लेम कर रही हैं. Now the BJP government was on a tender hooks after Congress took out a 170-kilometer पद यात्रा from Meghdatu to Bangalore seeking the project's early implementation. और इसके साथ ही उन्होंने स्टेट जो है उनके ऊपर ये एलिगेशन लगाया कि स्टेट जानबूझकर जो है ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है इसके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को जो है वो डिले कर रही है एंड दे आस्क्ड फॉर एन अर्ली इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. ऑल्सो इसके अलावा भी जो है वो ये पूरा इशू न्यूज़ में रहा है एज रिसेंटली कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट जो है Not recently, it was in May 2021 that the Karnataka government decided to challenge before the NGT its decision to appoint a joint committee over मेघदातु. So ये मेघदातु के ऊपर इससे पहले एक और debate जो है वो रहा है, and this joint committee was supposed to look into the allegations of unauthorized construction activities taking in this region. मेघदातु को हमने समझा, इसके ट्रिब्यूटरीज और कॉन्फ्लुएंस को हमने देखा, किन स्टेट के बीच में इसको लेकर झड़प हो रही है उसको भी हमने समझा. Now, as I promised that we will be discussing about its the project, ये project क्या है, तो एक बार इस project को भी समझ लेते हैं. तो ये जो मेघदातु प्रोजेक्ट है ये लगभग 9,000 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट है, जो ये एम करता है कि ड्रिंकिंग वाटर जो है, ड्रिंकिंग पर्पसेस से, उस पर्पस से जो मेघदातु वाटर है उसको सप्लाई और स्टोर किया जाए फॉर बेंगलुरु सिटी. Now around 400 megawatts of power is also proposed to be generated through this project. इसके अलावा this project was first approved by the government of Karnataka, the state government of Karnataka in 2017, and with this it also received approval from erstwhile Ministry of Water Resources for detailed project report, and it's awaiting its approval for Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. इसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें तो the approval from MOEFCC is critical because 63% of forest area of Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary will be submerged through this. अगर हम further development की बात करें तो 2018 में जो है तमिलनाडु approached Supreme Court against the project that if Karnataka had held that it would not affect the flow of water to Tamil Nadu. और जून 2020 में क्या हुआ, जून 2020 में जो कावेरी वाटर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी की मीटिंग हुई, तमिलनाडु रिटेरिएटेड इट एंड अपोज द प्रोजेक्ट. अब प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में समझ लिया, दोनों स्टेट के बीच में क्या इशू है वो समझ लिया, मेघदातु का जो पूरा आइडिया है वो समझ लिया. अब ये समझते हैं कि तमिलनाडु को क्या समस्या है, तमिलनाडु जो है वो क्यों इस प्रोजेक्ट को जो है वो अपोज कर रहा है. तमिलनाडु is opposed to any project being proposed in the upper riparian until it was approved by SC, that is Supreme Court. अब Karnataka has no right to construct any reservoir or an interstate river without the consent of lower riparian state, that is Tamil Nadu in this case. अब ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है दिस इज अगेंस्ट द फाइनल ऑर्डर ऑफ कावेरी वाटर डिस्प्यूट ट्रिब्यूनल विच इज CWDT, जिसमें SC ने ये डिसीजन लिया दैट नो स्टेट कैन क्लेम एक्सक्लूसिव ओनरशिप और असर्ट राइट टू डिप्राइव अदर स्टेट ऑफ इंटरस्टेट रिवर्स. ओके, अब अगर हम CWDT और SC के डिसीजंस को एक बार समझें तो CWDT एंड SC have found that the existing shortage facility available in the Kaveri basin were adequate for storing and distributing water. So Karnataka's proposal is ex facie, that is on the face of it, and by this it becomes untenable and should be rejected. इसके साथ ही it also held that the reservoir is not just for drinking water alone but to increase the extent of irrigation, which is in clear violation of Kaveri water dispute award. So these are some of the things जिसकी वजह से जो है ये जो पूरा सिनेरियो है मेघदातु प्रोजेक्ट को लेकर इसको तमिलनाडु ने अपोज किया. अब अगर हम ब्रीफ में एक बार बात कर लें कावेरी रिवर डिस्प्यूट तो वो क्या है. So basically Kaveri is something that is known as Ponni in Tamil, which is also the Ganga of South. और ये जो है अगर हम बात करें कावेरी की तो ये साउदर्न इंडिया का चौथा लार्जेस्ट रिवर है. इसके अलावा ये एक साउदर्न इंडिया का एक सीक्रेट रिवर है और इट राइजेस ऑन ब्रह्मगिरी हिल्स, दैट इज ऑफ द वेस्टर्न घाट्स इन साउथ वेस्टर्न कर्नाटका स्टेट, and it descends the eastern ghat in series of great falls and drains into Bay of Bengal through Pondicherry. और अगर कावेरी के कुछ ट्रिब्यूटरीज की बात करें तो वो है अर्कावती, हेमावती, लक्ष्मणा, तीर्था, शिमास, काबिनी एंड हारांगी. तो ये जो है ये कुछ कावेरी के जो है वो ट्रिब्यूटरीज हैं। ओके, अब अगर हम डिस्प्यूट की बात करें तो रिवर जो है वो कर्नाटका में ओरिजिनेट होता है एंड इट फ्लोज थ्रू तमिलनाडु विथ मेजर ट्रिब्यूटरीज कमिंग फ्रॉम केरला एंड ड्रेन्स इनटू बे ऑफ बंगाल थ्रू पौंडीचेरी। एंड इसलिए ये जो डिस्प्यूट है इट इन्वॉल्व्स 3 स्टेट्स एंड 1 यूनियन टेरिटरी। और जो इस डिस्प्यूट का जेनेसिस है दैट इज ऑलमोस्ट 150 years old एंड इट डेट बैक्स टू द 2 एग्रीमेंट्स ऑफ आर्बिट्रेशन जो है इन स्टेट्स के बीच में हुआ था, दैट वाज इन 1892 एंड 1924। तो तब जो है वो ये स्टेट्स जो वो थी मद्रास प्रेसिडेंसी एंड मैसूर। ओके, so yeah, and if we talk about the recent development in this dispute, तो 1974 से कर्नाटका जो है उसने वाटर को डाइवर्ट करना शुरू कर दिया इनटू इट्स 4 न्यूली मेड रिजर्वियर विदाउट द कंसेंट ऑफ तमिलनाडु, जिसकी वजह से है ये डिस्प्यूट जो है ये गहरा हो गया। तो अब हम बात करते हैं कि इसका वे फॉरवर्ड क्या है। क्या वे फॉरवर्ड है, क्या इसमें किया जा सकता है इस डिस्प्यूट को खत्म करने के लिए। तो यहाँ पे स्टेट्स नीड टू शेड द रीजनल अप्रोच ऑन द सोल्यूशन, क्योंकि सोल्यूशन जो है वो यहाँ पे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में नहीं मिल सकता है, दैट इज विद इन कॉपरेशन एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन। तो the planning must be done at the basin level to make the solution sustainable and economically viable for both the states, since this is an interstate river basin and no state can claim full right or something without the concept of other state on this. So they together need to find a viable solution in this situation here. Now let's this is it for this article. आपने यहाँ पे बहुत सारी important चीजें जो है सीखी, कावेरी डिस्प्यूट के बारे में जाना, कावेरी की ट्रिब्यूटरीज को जाना, मेघदातु प्रोजेक्ट को जाना, मेघदातु का क्या लोकेशन है, क्या चीज़ें हैं वो जाना, तमिलनाडु क्यों अपोज कर रहा है इस प्रोजेक्ट को ये आपने समझा। सो ये सब जो सारी चीज़ें हम अभी अभी हमने देखी वो आपके एग्जाम के पर्सपेक्टिव से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। एंड एज दिस आर्टिकल सेज एक्सप्लेनर, सो दीज एक्सप्लेनेशंस आर समथिंग दैट यू कैन कीप इन योर हेड and retain it for the perspective of your exam. So now move to the next article that is also an explainer that talks about Artemis program of NASA's new moon mission. आज जो टेक्स्ट और कॉन्टेक्स्ट का सेक्शन है उसमें काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग आर्टिकल्स हैं, तो इसको एक बार डिकोड करते हैं कि इस आर्टिकल में जो है हमारे लिए क्या सब्सटैंशियल चीज़ें जो है वो हैं। So first of all, let's decode the story a bit. So on March 17, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that is NASA, it rolled out its Artemis 1 moon mission to the launch pad for testing the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, which is in United States. Now the Space Launch System SLS rocket and Orion capsule of the mission were hurled out to the launch pad by NASA's Crawler Transporter 2 vehicle. तो अब यहाँ पे जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ें हैं वो ये है कि नासा's न्यू मून मिशन एंड द आर्टेमिस प्रोग्राम, ये दोनों चीज़ें जो है इनको हम यहाँ पे समझ लेते हैं। सो आर्टेमिस मिशन, सबसे पहले समझते हैं कि आर्टेमिस 1 है क्या। सो आर्टेमिस 1 इज अ प्लान्ड अनक्रूड टेस्ट फ्लाइट फॉर नासा's आर्टेमिस प्रोग्राम, और ये जो है ये पहली फ्लाइट है ऑफ द एजेंसीज स्पेस लॉन्च सिस्टम SLS, जिसकी हम अभी ऊपर बात कर रहे थे, विच इज अ हेवी लिफ्ट लॉन्च व्हीकल एंड द फर्स्ट फ्लाइट ऑफ द ओरियन MPCV. Now, as of March 2022, Artemis 1 is expected to launch no earlier than June 2022. And okay, so that was something about Artemis 1. Now, this article is something which is very important. अभी जो हमने चीज़ें डिस्कस की, जो लॉन्च सिस्टम है वो कौन सा है, जो आर्टेमिस है वो क्या चीज़ है, कौन लॉन्च पैड उसका कहाँ पे है। सो ये सारी चीज़ें आपका प्रिलिमिनरी और जो इंफॉर्मेटिव पर्सपेक्टिव है उसके हिसाब से काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, तो आप इसको जो है वो यहाँ पे ध्यान रख सकते हैं। इसके साथ ही जो आर्टेमिस 1 है दैट इज फर्स्ट ऑफ द नासा's डीप स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन सिस्टम एंड इट इज एन uncrewed space mission जो हमने देखा। Now it is the spacecraft will launch on SLS again, which is the most powerful rocket in the world. Again, informative and important ये आपके लिए हो जाता है. And it travels लगभग 2,80,000 miles from Earth for over 4 to 6 weeks during the course of the mission. Now, the Orion spacecraft is going to remain in space without docking to a space station longer than any ship for astronauts that have done ever before. So, this is something which is a very historical that is going to be, forwarded by NASA. Now, NASA will establish an Artemis base camp on the surface and gateways in the lunar orbit to aid explorations by robots and astronauts. अब अगर हम इस गेटवे की बात करें तो दिस गेटवे इज अ क्रिटिकल component of NASA's sustainable lunar operation and it will serve as a multi-purpose outpost orbiting the moon. ओके अब अगर हम लॉन्च डेट की बात करें तो दैट इज जून 2022 यूटीसी और रॉकेट स्पेस लॉन्च सिस्टम ब्लॉक 1 के तहत जो है इसको लॉन्च किया जाएगा. और अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि लॉन्च साइट क्या है तो दैट इज केनेडी स्पेस सेंटर. इस मिशन की ट्रेजेक्ट्री क्या है इसको भी एक बार हम समझ लेते हैं. सो SLS एंड ओरियन अंडर आर्टेमिस 1 विल बी लॉन्च फ्रॉम द KSC इन फ्लोरिडा in US in summer 2022. और अगर हम स्पेस क्राफ्ट की बात करें तो इट विल डिप्लॉय द इंटरिम cryogenic propulsion stage ICPS, which is a liquid oxygen or liquid hydrogen based propulsion system that will give Orion the thrust which it needs to leave the Earth's orbit and travel towards the moon. So this is the mission trajectory और future missions क्या है Artemis program के. तो the second flight under the program will have crew on board and it will test the Orion's critical system and with humans on board. अभी जो है that is the explorations are done by the aid of robots and astronauts and later that will be supported by human aids also on board. So yeah, this was something about this article. The informative part you can always retain and keep in your head. You never know how you can have preliminary questions about these things. So let's move to the next page. And if you scroll to page number 12, a quick information that is Bakuti, it resembles a village under seas. So recently we had an incident that took place in Birbhum district of and Rampurhat town of Birbhum district in West Bengal, where 8 people were charred to death as their houses were set on fire in Bogoti village, which is in Rampurhat town of Birbhum district. Now, this incident was possibly a fallout of the murder of Deputy Pradhan of Baguti village on Monday night. So, we need to understand these incidents which are very unfortunate and something that should not be acceptable in today's scenario. So yeah, if we move towards the next article, we have an article that talks about Article 355 that is needed in Bengal. So now that is something which is informative. What's the concept that we need to retain here is about Article 355. So what is Article 355? Article 355, it entrusts the duty upon union to protect the states against the external aggression and internal disturbances to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with the provisions of constitution. Now over the period, this article, the Article 355, it gained a different texture. Okay. So we will be dealing some provisions, some constitutional provisions, and some other articles also that talks about the functioning of a governor. So and in the same context, we will be also dealing Article 355 in detail. So let's talk about these constitutional provisions. ओके ये डिस्कस करने से पहले एक इम्पॉर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन जो है आप इसको याद रख सकते हैं कि जो गवर्नर का अपॉइंटमेंट होता है या जो पावर्स होते हैं उनके दैट इज डिस्कस्ड इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फ्रॉम आर्टिकल 153 टू आर्टिकल 162. And if we talk about the role of governor, it is something which is very similar to the president of India. That the governor performs same duties as of president, but the president does it for the country, and the governor does it for the state. Now coming to the constitutional provisions that we were about to discuss, पहला जो है that is about आर्टिकल 163. तो आर्टिकल 163 जो है इट बेसिकली टॉक्स अबाउट द डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर ऑफ द गवर्नर. फिर आर्टिकल 256 जो है ये बात करता है जो एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर होता है यूनियन का उसके बारे में, एंड इट ऑल्सो एक्सटेंड्स to giving of such direction to the state, and it may appear to the government of India as necessary for that purpose. आर्टिकल 257 की अगर बात करें तो दैट टॉक्स अबाउट द एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर ऑफ यूनियन एंड शिल आल्सो एक्सटेंड टू गिविंग ऑफ डायरेक्शन टू अ स्टेट एज टू द construction and maintenance of means of communication which is declared in the direction to be national or of military importance. अब जो हमारा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट आर्टिकल है आर्टिकल 355, जो ये इंट्रस्ट करता है कि जो ड्यूटी है union पे to protect the state against external aggression and internal disturbance, and to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with the provision of constitution. इस चीज को कौन इंश्योर करता है? तो इस चीज को आर्टिकल 355 जो है वो इंश्योर करता है. और इसी तरह से अगर आर्टिकल 356 की बात करें तो in the event that a state government is unable to function according to the constitutional provision, the central government can take direct control of the state machinery. ये जो provision है ये आर्टिकल 356 के अंदर है. उसी तरह अगर आर्टिकल 357 की बात करें तो it deals with the exercise of legislative power under proclamation which is issued under article 356 by the article 356 by the central government. तो ये कुछ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस थे जो गवर्नर के जो फंक्शनिंग और एक्सरसाइजेशन से रिलेटेड थे और जिनको हमने देखा. सो दीज आर समथिंग दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड अगेन जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ पे दी गई है ये आपके एग्जाम के पर्सपेक्टिव से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकता है. तो काइंडली रिटेन दैट एंड यू कैन टेक इट एज योर लर्निंग फ्रॉम दिस आर्टिकल. Now, if you move towards page number 14, that is a news section. Again, you have some quick informations that speaking at the United Nations Security Council, that is UNSC meeting on cooperation between UN and League of Arab States, our Foreign Secretary Harsh Shingla recently said that India and Arab would share a civilizational relationship. And with this, he welcomed the normalization of a relationship between countries in region and reiterated India's support for a two-state, that is a Palestine and Israel solution. तो ये जो है ये recent stand था हमारे foreign secretary का while he was speaking at UNSC. Apart from that, we have another information. So this article is regarding the imposing of taxes on other state lotteries. So recently, Supreme Court on Wednesday held that a state legislature has a right to impose taxes on lotteries conducted by other states within its jurisdiction. And the power to tax is on all the activities which are in the nature of betting and gambling. That includes lotteries as well, since there is no dispute that lotteries, irrespective of whether it is conducted or organized by the government of India or government of state, is betting and gambling. Since a lottery is considered under this gambling and betting provision, that is also something which is taxable, and this was taken as something which was decided by Supreme Court on the state for the state legislature. Now moving on to the next section, that is the business section. We have some quick informations that the domestic air traffic, it will exceed pre-COVID level by 23-24 year. So the domestic passenger numbers would be exceeding pre-pandemic levels by 2023 to 2024, and this was something which was marked by Ministry of Civil Aviation in the Lok Sabha. So now moving to the next article, that is about a cotton season to close with 45.46 lakh bales. Now, what is important here is the information that is about cotton. So, cotton is basically a kharif crop which is in the major parts of the country, with Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. Apart from that, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Maharashtra, and some parts of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. Now, in these areas, the irrigated crop is sown from March to May, and the rain-fed crop is sown in June, July, with the commencement of monsoon. So, the Committee on Cotton Production here and Consumption has estimated that the current cotton season, which is October 2022 to September 2022, is to close with a stock of 45.46 lakh bales. So now this information that we just dealt with about cotton is something important from your exam perspective, because agriculture is a major part of your syllabus of your GS paper. So that is something substantial you can have a takeaway from this article. So moving towards the sports section, we do not have anything significant today. So, yeah, that is it for today. We are closing on this, and if you like our video, do like, share, and subscribe our channel, and do press the bell icon so that you can keep yourself updated for whatever we are bringing for you. Thank you, and have a nice day. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you.